भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। We can recite together. नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्णा पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तना हृदयन्तस्थो ह्य भद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सताम्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ग्रंथराज Bhagavatam ki jai. Vishal Prabhu for being present in person, studio audience. Okay. So we are reading this chapter. The Pandavas retire timely. So in the first 16 verses, 16 or 17 verses, Arjuna is lamenting the separation from Lord Krishna. He's remembering how his dealings were with Krishna. Later on, um, we will see that Pandavas will retire timely, and I think up to text 31, Arjuna is explaining his heart and situation, and then we see that Yudhishthir Maharaj and Pandavas they retire from the kingly duties. I heard a lecture from his Pal Mukund Prabhu. His Pal Govind Prabhu. Yeah, Pal Govind Prabhu from ISKCON Pune. So he has this channel called Lotus Voice Videos. He has given many classes on Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita also. Let's recite the verse. Text 16. This is little difficult, but we can try. यद्दोहशोमा प्रणिहितं गुरुभीष्मकर्णा
यद्दोषुमा प्रणिहितं गुरुभीष्मकर्णा
यद्दोहशोमा यद्दोषु यद्दोहशोमा प्रणिहितं भीष्मकर्णा
यद्दोषुमा प्रणिहितं गुरुभीष्मकर्णा
नप्त्रित्रिगर्तशल्यसैन्दवबाहिलिकाद्यैः अस्त्राण्यमोघमहिमानि निरूपितानि नोपस्पृशुर्निहरिदासमिवासुराणि यद्दोहशोमा प्रणिहितं गुरुभीष्मकर्णा
यद्दोषुमा प्रणिहितं गुरुभीष्मकर्णा
नप्त्रित्रिगर्तशल्यसैन्दवबाहिलिकाद्यैः अस्त्राण्यमोघमहिमानि निरूपितानि नोपस्पृशुर्नरहरिदासमिवासुराणि यतोषुमा प्रणिहितं गुरुभीष्मकर्णा
नप्त्रित्रिगर्तशल्यसैन्दवबाहिलिकाद्यैः
अस्त्राण्यमोघमहिमानि निरूपितानि नोपस्पृशुर्नृहरिदासमिवासुराणि
यद्दोषुमा प्रणिहितं गुरुभीष्मकर्णा
यद्दोषुमा प्रणिहितं गुरुभीष्मकर्णा
नप्त्रित्रिगर्तशल्यसैन्दवबाहिलिकाद्यैः
Naptri Trigarta Shalya Sandava Bahlikadyai
अस्त्राणि अमोघमहिमानि निरूपितानि
अस्त्राण्यमोघ महिमानि निरूपितानि
नोपास्पृशुर्नहरिदासमिवासुराणि
नोपस्पृशुर्निहरिदासमिवासुरानि. Word for word translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Yat
Yet
under whose
doshu
protection of arms
protection of arms
ma pranihitam
ma pranihitam
myself being situated Guru Dronacharya Bhishma Karna Naptri Bhurishrava Trigarta King Susharma Shalya Saindhav King Jayadratha Bahalika brother of Maharaj Shantanu Bhishma's father Adyai etc. Astrani weapons Amogha invincible Mahimani very powerful Nirupitani applied not Upsprishu touched Niharidasam servitor of Nrsingadev Prahlad Iva like Asurani weapons employed by the demons. Translation: Great generals like Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Bhurishrava, Susharma, Shalya, Jayadratha, and Bahilka all and Bahlika all directed their invincible weapons against me, but by his Lord Krishna's grace they could not even touch a hair on my head. Similarly, Prahlad Maharaj, the supreme devotee of Lord Nrsingadev, was unaffected by the weapons the demons used against him. Purport: The history of Prahlad Maharaj, the great devotee of Nrsingadev, is narrated in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj, a small child of only 5 years, became the object of envy for his great father, Hiranyakashipu, only because of his becoming a pure devotee of the Lord. The demon father employed all his weapons to kill the devotee son, Prahlad. But by the grace of the Lord, he was saved from all sorts of dangerous actions by his father. He was thrown in a fire in boiling oil from the top of a hill underneath the legs of an elephant, and he was administered poison. At last, the father himself took up a chopper to kill his son, and thus Nrsingadev appeared and killed the heinous father in the presence of the son. Thus, no one can kill the devotee of the Lord. Similarly, Arjuna was also saved by the Lord, although all dangerous weapons were employed by his great opponents like Bhishma. Karna, born of Kunti by the sun god prior to her marriage with Maharaj Pandu, Karna took his birth with bangles and earrings, extraordinary signs for an undaunted hero. In the beginning, his name was Vasudev. Excuse me. In the beginning, his name was Vasusen. But when he grew up, he presented his natural bangles and earrings to Indradev, and thenceforward he became known as Vaikartan. After his birth from the maiden Kunti, he was thrown in the Ganges. Later, he was picked up by Adhirath, and he and his wife Radha brought him up as their own offspring. Karna was very charitable, especially toward the Brahmanas. There was nothing he could not spare for a Brahman. In the same charitable spirit, he gave in charity his natural bangles and earrings to Indradev, who, being very much satisfied with him, gave him in return a great weapon called Shakti. He was admitted as one of the students of Dronacharya and from the very beginning there was some rivalry between him and Arjuna. Seeing his constant rivalry with Arjuna, Duryodhan picked him up as his companion, and this gradually grew into greater intimacy. He was also present in the great assembly of Draupadi's Swayamvar function. And when he attempted to exhibit his talent in that meeting, Draupadi's brother declared that Karna could not take part in the competition because of his being the son of a Shudra carpenter. Although he was refused in the competition, still, when Arjuna was successful in piercing the fish target on the ceiling and Draupadi bestowed her garland upon Arjuna, Karna and the other disappointed princes offered an unusual stumbling block to Arjun while he was leaving with Draupadi. Specifically, Karna fought with him very valiantly, but all of them were defeated by Arjun. Duryodhan was very much pleased with Karna because of his constant rivalry with Arjun. And when he was in power, he enthroned Karna in the state of Anga. Being baffled in his attempt to win Draupadi, Karna advised Duryodhan to attack King Drupad. For after defeating him, both Arjun and Draupadi could be arrested. But Dronacharya rebuked them for this conspiracy and they refrained from the action. Karna was defeated many times, not only by Arjun but also by Bhimsen. He was the king of the kingdom of Bengal, Orissa, and Madras combined. Later on, he took an active part in the Rajsuya sacrifice of Maharaj Yudhishthir. And when there was gambling between the rival brothers, designed by Shakuni, Karna took part in the game, and he was very pleased when Draupadi was offered as a bet in the gambling. This fed his old grudge. When Draupadi was in the game, he was very enthusiastic to declare the news, and it is he who ordered Dushasan to take away the garments of both the Pandavas and Draupadi. He asked Draupadi to select another husband because, being lost by the Pandavas, she was rendered a slave of the Kurus. He was always an enemy of the Pandavas, and whenever there was an opportunity, he tried to curb them by all means. During the Battle of Kurukshetra, he foresaw the conclusive result, and he expressed his opinion that due to Lord Krishna's being the chariot driver of Arjuna, the battle should be won by Arjuna. He always differed with Bhishma, and sometimes he was proud enough to say that within 5 days he could finish up the Pandavas if Bhishma would not interfere with his plan of action. But he was much mortified when Bhishma died. He killed Ghatotkach with the Shakti weapon obtained from Indradev. His son Vrishasen was killed by Arjun. He killed the largest number of Pandava soldiers. At last, there was a severe fight with Arjuna, and it was he only who was able to knock off the helmet of Arjun. But it so happened that the wheel of his chariot stuck in the battlefield mud. And when he got down to set the wheel right, Arjuna took the opportunity and killed him, although he requested Arjuna not to do so. I will stop here. The rest of the book will be covered next class. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो I seek blessings of all the assembled devotees so that I can glorify Srimad Bhagavatam following the mood of our disciplic succession from Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So, in this purport, we have read that about Prahlad Maharaj and about Karna, so I will be focusing on them. A few points that I heard from the class. Viraha Smarana. Viraha means separation. So Smarna means remembrance. So this whole chapter, most of it, 31 verses or first 31 texts, they are about Arjuna remembering Lord Krishna. He's remembering Krishna in separation because Lord Krishna has left the earthly planet. So Arjuna is lamenting. So I was thinking that in material world also there is lamentation. We lament for material things. We lament for our loved ones when they are no longer there. We lament for sometimes wealth, sometimes achievements. But that kind of lamentation brings us misery. On the other hand, when we lament for a devotee or we lament for the Supreme Lord, that kind of lamentation is also called a yoga. Yoga means plus or connection with the Supreme, and it enhances our spiritual life. Although it seems like it is miserable, so many devotees lamenting for Krishna. We have heard so many bhajans where they are lamenting that they have not achieved Krishna. Hari Hari Bipale Janama Guainu by Sri Govind, I think Sri Govind Kaviraj, or it was yesterday we heard about Sri Govind Kaviraj, the brother of Ramchandra Kaviraj. Um, that I have not chanted the names of Krishna. Manushya Janam Paila Radha Krishna Navajiya Janiya Suniya Vishakhainu. I have received this birth of human life, but still I have not chanted the names of Krishna and Radharani. So knowingly I have drunk poison. So devotees are lamenting that they have not achieved shelter of Krishna. Srila Madhvinder Puri, who is the spiritual master of Ishwar Puri, who, who is the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Madhvendra Puri, when he was passing away, when he was leaving this material world, he was lamenting, "Oh Krishna, I have not achieved you. I have until now I'm close to death, but I have not received your mercy. I have not received your darshan." So we can see even those Vaishnavas who are advanced, they are lamenting. The six Goswamis were lamenting, हे राधे व्रज देवी के चललिते हे नंद सुनो कुता O Radharani, O Krishna, O Lalita, where are you? Are you in the bushes of Vrindavan? Are you in Radha Kund? Are you at Govardhan? When will we get your darshan? So we see this mood of separation is there in all the Vaishnavas. They do not falsely claim that they are seeing Krishna face to face. So this kind of lamentation is also advancement in spiritual life. It brings us closer to Krishna. It is said that it is simultaneously pouring nectar and poison at the same time. That's the closest analogy we have in the material world. So we are feeling the poison because we are separated from Krishna. But at the same time, by remembering Krishna, we are actually in union with Krishna. Because Krishna is non different from his name, from his activities, from his form. So when we are remembering Krishna, Arjuna is remembering Krishna. Oh, Krishna, help me go through this so many challenges in my life. So they are remembering Krishna's pastimes. So he is in union with Krishna, but at the same time, he is not seeing Krishna face to face. So there is separation and union at the same time. So that is why in spiritual life, the lamentation is also a yoga. So first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is yoga of despair. He's initially Arjuna is lamenting for material reasons. He is lamenting, oh, I have to kill my relatives. I should rather go away. I should leave this battle. But then he surrenders to Krishna in the second chapter. He says that, please, you instruct me. what is right. I am not able to understand. Uh, Prichami tvam dharma sammoda cheta. Please tell me what is the right thing to do. I am not able to ascertain what is dharma. So, such kind of lamentation, confusion, hopelessness, despair means hopelessness, feeling of everything lost, even that can be applied in Krishna's service by remembering Krishna. That elevates our consciousness and we feel we are with Krishna. So that's what this chapter is about. About in spiritual life, there's nothing bad. Everything is good. When separation is an advancement, is an advanced state in spiritual life. So this is chapter is about Viraha Smaranam, remembering Krishna in separation. Then there is a description of Prahlad Maharaj. Arjuna is saying there were so many formidable warriors in the battle, but still they could not even touch a hair on my head. So this was because Krishna was seated on the chariot. He's driving the chariot so prudently that so many weapons were hurled on Arjuna. Everybody was trying to kill Arjuna, but not even a hair of Arjuna could be touched. That is the mercy of Supreme Lord. Thank you, Rahul Prabhu, for joining. We are reading Canto 1, Chapter 15, Text 16. So Arjuna is lamenting for Lord Krishna's departure, and he is mentioning how so many great warriors like Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Bhurishrava, Susharma, Shalya, Jayadratha, and Bahilaka, they were there on the war battleground of Kurukshetra, but still their weapons could not even touch hair on his body. We see that the max they could do is only removing the helmet. That's the best they could do. That was done by Karna when Karna threw a weapon. And I think that time Lord Krishna put his feet on the chariot and the chariot went down into the earth. So the weapon which was going to hit on Arjuna's head, take his head away, it hit the helmet. Arjuna was telling Krishna, Krishna, you should drive properly. But that was the closest they could come to to Arjuna. So we can see in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, Rakhe Krishna Mare Krishna Rakhe ke. If Krishna wants to protect somebody, then who can kill him? But if Krishna wants to kill someone, then who can protect him? There's nobody who can protect. So we see the case of Prahlad Maharaj, we can see the case of Arjuna. So many weapons, so many conspiracies to kill that person. Everything is against that person, but no harm. On the other hand, we see many times in material world we do our all due diligence, but still the person is killed. For example, sometimes a patient, he has the best kind of medicine, doctors, still the patient dies. Or we know the case of Titanic. They built it with so much intelligence, the best class of engineers, the best kind of ship. They did not even care to carry lifeboats because that ship would never sink. That was their understanding. But on this first voyage, on his first trip, that's ship sunk. So that is, we never know. In the material world, there is no security. We can have insurance over insurance over insurance, but there's no security. Ultimately, security comes from Krishna. So, in one of the prayers by Prahlad Maharaj, he says this: Balasya neha sharanam pitaro nashinga nartasya chagadam udanvati majjato no taptasya tat pratividir yahandirveshtas tavad vibho tanubrita tvad upekshitanam. So, this is Let me give you the number for reference. This is Shloka book. This is very helpful for all the important shlokas quoted by Srila Prabhupada. This is Canto 7, Chapter 19, Text 19. My Lord Nrsingadev, O Supreme, because of a bodily conception of life, embodied souls, neglected and not cared for by you, cannot do anything for their betterment. Whatever remedies they accept, although perhaps temporarily beneficial, are certainly impermanent. For example, a father and mother cannot protect their child, a physician and medicine cannot relieve a suffering patient, and a boat on the ocean cannot protect a drowning man. So even if the parents try, still the children die. Even they try to protect. Physician and medicine, they try to protect a suffering patient, but still the patient dies. And a boat on the ocean cannot protect a drowning man. You see the case of Titanic. If Krishna does not want it to be done. So I have heard in lecture by His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu that when we honor medicine in Ayurveda, we have to pray to Vishnu. If you desire, then this medicine will act. So we do our due diligence. We take the insurance, but we depend upon Krishna. We try to work out. We try to eat healthy. We try to do all those things. Have a nice lifestyle, careful. But ultimately, the protection comes from Krishna. So in this case, Prahlad Maharaj, we are reading from Canto 7, Chapter 5. The context is that Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking Narad Muni about who was Prahlad, who was Hiranyakashipu, how Hiranyakashipu became so envious. So Narad Muni is describing that pastime of Prahlad Maharaj. My dear King Yudhishthir, this is 7.542. My dear King Yudhishthir, when all the attempts of the demons, let's read some little before that. This is a very nice chapter. Let's read it together. We have some time. Prabhu, could you read 7.522? We'll just read the translations. If anybody would like to read online, please raise your hand. I will call upon you. We are reading Canto 7, Chapter 5, Text 22. We'll only read translations up to the almost maybe 20 or 25 verses. Yeah.
Hiranyakashipu said, My dear Prahlad, my dear son, O long-lived one, for so much time you have heard many things from your teachers. Now please repeat to me whatever you think is the best of that knowledge.
Prahlad Maharaj said, hearing and chanting about the transcendental name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, pastimes of the Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming a servant, considering the Lord one's best friend, and surrendering everything unto him. In other words, serving him with the body, mind, and words. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna to these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge.
Anybody online would like to read next? This is 7.525. Yes, Adina Krishna.
After hearing these words of devotional service from the mouth of his son Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu was extremely angry. His lips trembling, he spoke as follows to Shanda, the son of his guru, Shukracharya.
Yeah, continue, Prabhu. Continue 4 more verses.
O unqualified, most heinous son of a Brahmana, you have disobeyed my order and taken shelter of the party of my enemies. You have taught this poor boy about devotional service? What is this nonsense? In due course of time, various types of diseases are manifest in those who are sinful. Similarly, in this world there are many deceptive friends in false garbs, but eventually Because of their false behavior, their actual enmity becomes manifest. The son of Shukracharya, Hiranyakashipu's spiritual master, said, "O enemy of King Indra, O king, whatever your son Prahlad has said was not taught to him by me or anyone else. His spontaneous devotional service has naturally developed in him. Therefore, please give up your anger and do not unnecessarily accuse us. It is not good to insult a Brahmana in this way."
Okay, continue, Prabhu.
Sri Narada Muni continued. When Hiranyakashipu received this reply from the teacher, he again addressed his own Prahlad. Hiranyakashipu said, "You rascal, most fallen of our family, if you have not received this education from your teachers, where have you gotten it?" Prahlad Maharaj replied, "Because of their uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to material life make progress toward hellish conditions and repeatedly chew that which has already been chewed. Their inclinations toward Krishna are never aroused, either by the instructions of others, by their own efforts, or by a combination of both. Persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life and who have therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind man attached to external sense objects cannot understand that the goal of life is to return home back to Godhead and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. As blind men guided by another blind man miss the right path and fall into a ditch, materially attached men led by another materially attached man are bound by the ropes of fruitive labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries. Unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, completely freed from material contamination, persons very much inclined toward materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord in this way can one be freed from material contamination. After Prahlad Maharaj had spoken this way and became silent and become silent, Hiranyakashipu, blinded by anger, threw him off his lap and onto the ground.
So we'll read yeah, 7, 5, 39, 40. Prabhu. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
Sorry, just going 39. The demons, Rakshasas, the servants of Hiranyakashipu, thus began striking the tender parts of Prahlad Maharaj's body with their tridents. The demons all had fearful faces, sharp teeth, and reddish coppery beards and hair, and they appeared extremely threatening, making a tumultuous sounds, shouting, "Chop him off, pierce him." They began striking Prahlad Maharaj, who sat silently, meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Continue.
Even though a person who has no access in pious activities performs some good deeds, it will have no result. Thus, the weapons of the demons had no tangible effect upon Prahlad Maharaj because he was a devotee undisturbed by material conditions and fully engaged in meditating upon and serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is unchangeable, who cannot be realized by material senses, and who is the soul of the entire universe. My dear King Yudhishthira, when all the attempts of the demons to kill Prahlad Maharaj were futile, the king of the demons, Hiranyakashipu, being most fearful, began contriving other means to kill him. Hiranyakashipu could not kill his son by throwing him beneath the feet of a big elephant, throwing him among huge, fearful snakes, employing destructive spells, hurling him from the top of a hill, conjuring up illusory tricks, administering poison, starving him, exposing him to severe cold winds, fire, and water, or throwing heavy stones to crush him. When Hiranyakashipu found that he could not in any way harm Prahlad, who was completely sinless, he was in great anxiety about what to do next.
Yeah, so we can see, Prabhu, even in our spiritual life, there will be many attacks by people who are not, who are against devotional service, who are not in line with the mode of serving God or serving Krishna. So we should remain fearless and take shelter of the Guru, of the spiritual master, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So that way we can be protected. Apparently, sometimes we see that a devotee is also heard. Parikshit Maharaj was killed in 7 days at the end of 7 days after hearing Bhagavatam. But even if the person leaves, a devotee leaves this planet, that is also for his success. It's success. He goes to the spiritual world. So we see many times devotees are protected, many times they leave the planet, many times they are harmed. So whatever is done on a devotee is for devotee's betterment, because Krishna gives customized karma, customized suffering for a devotee. In Juhu, when there was a war for the land, battle for the land, for getting the Juhu property for building ISKCON temple, Prabhupada disciples had to go through so much suffering. Many times the municipal party people, they tried to disrespect even the women. They were dragged, what to speak of men. So they were harmed in so many ways. They suffered so much, but then they used that suffering to publish it all over Mumbai in the newspapers, and then they got so much support from the people in general, and that's why it became very firm. Their situation in Juhu became very firm, so they could get the land. So even though apparently devotees suffer many times, that is also for their advancement, for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. So when we can take such insult, suffering, and disrespect as mercy of the Lord, then it feeds on our spiritual body. That's why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says it gives us blood for our spiritual body. When we receive reprimand, when we receive insults on behalf of Krishna, it gives us spiritual blood. So Krishna protects us in all ways, different ways, physically, materially, spiritually. So we should take it as mercy of Krishna and be very grateful, like Arjuna is. Then we can always stay connected with him, whether we are in a so-called good situation materially or not so good situation, like Arjuna is going through now. We'll stop here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. We'll take one question or reflection. Anybody online? Has any reflection or questions? Yes, Prabhu, Vishal, go ahead.
So when you were telling that whatever Krishna does, it's for the good of the devotee, I was reminded of Prabhupada's disciple Ratni Mataji. So she was part of the New Vrindavan project, and she was a very fearless preacher. It was like a single devotee army who managed a lot of many services, and there are a lot of glories about her. And she took up with Radha Manoj's permission at that time, because there was some conflict. But she went to preach in West Africa. She went to Liberia and she was preaching there in the city of Monrovia. And there, that place was kind of taken over by gangs. And then many devotees were. So in Liberia, Monrovia, Lalini Mataji was preaching in Western Africa. And there were many evil-minded people who were against devotional service. So at one point of time, they got all of the devotees to stand by the seaside, and they were going to shoot them all. And then Ragni Mataji, and they were going to shoot all the males and leave the females. And then Ragni Mataji, she went in front of that gunman and then told him that this is devotional service. Krishna will not spare you if you do this, because they are devotees of Krishna. And then she was very strong in, coming in front of them and holding true to her values. But she was the first one and the only one to be shot. It was first shot there. It is very shocking for the devotional community, because she was such an inspiring figure for many devotees. And she had performed immense service for Prabhupada's mission. And at that time, it was very difficult for everyone to digest that if Krishna wishes to protect, why did he not protect Radha Mataji? So in today's class, we were seeing that, like you said, Parikshit Maharaj, and in many cases, even Taman Krishna Maharaj, he was he passed away in a car accident. And there are many such situations where devotees who have given their life for Krishna, but their lives were taken away in a seemingly unceremonious manner. But we can only connect the dots looking backwards because of this bravery and determination. Gandhi Mataji is known far and wide because of her fearlessness and her preaching aptitude. And we also know about many devotees say that Tamal Krishna Maharaj was taken away because Prabhupada immediately wanted him. He was like Prabhupada's right hand man. Anything, you go to Tamal Krishna Maharaj. So Prabhupada immediately wanted his service in the spiritual world or whenever he was preaching. So immediately he called him. And so devotees say such things, and we get to glorify them even more. So I just
Thank you so much for sharing that. We can stop here. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shila Prabhupada ki jai.